my name is Alexandra, and in this vlog, I am going to be connecting my personal travel experiences to the key concepts I've learned throughout this tourism course. Before taking this class, I only saw traveling as something very simple, fun, and relaxing. But now I understand that tourism is very complex. It is a global industry that affects the economy, the environment, and many local communities. The main trip I'll be focusing on today is my most recent leisure trip to Minneapolis, Minnesota. In my recent trip, we crossed the border by car, which took about 7 to 8 hours, and we stayed there for 3 days. And during the trip, we visited many major attractions like the Mall of America, the Como Conservatory, Zoo, and Japanese Garden, Minnehaha Falls, and popular stores like Target and Trader Joe's. And based on what I learned from this course, I would classify my trip as an excursion because it was a short-term travel, being 2 nights and 3 days, and outside of my usual environment for leisure. This fits the course definition of tourism, where travel happens for pleasure and not for work. During my trip to Minneapolis, I was also able to see the 3 different tourism supply organization types in real life: the public sector, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector. A good example of public sector was when I visited the Como Zoo, Conservatory, and Japanese Garden. Me and my family were very surprised to visit and see the admission was free. It is owned and supported by the city and is meant to benefit the public instead of making profit. They do accept donations, and our experience was so amazing that we were very happy to donate. For the private sector, it is shown through places like Mall of America, restaurants, and stores, which all operate to make money. Understanding these different sectors in my own trip helped me to understand how the tourism industry works as a full system and not just through business. The government, also called the public sector, plays a huge role in tourism, especially in places where tourism is really important. During my trip, I saw this at Como Zoo, which is run by the city and kept open for the public. The government gets involved in tourism to create jobs, support the community, keep visitors safe, and protect the nature and culture. The government is also involved behind the scenes through planning, setting rules, promoting destinations, and protecting the public's best interest. Another trip I went to a couple years ago was Banff, protected by Parks Canada. These experiences helped me realize that tourism isn't just ran by business. The government plays a big role in making sure everything stays clean, safe, and enjoyable. One of the biggest impacts I learned about is economic impact. We stayed at a large hotel chain instead of a locally owned one, which showed me that most of the money we spent likely went back to the corporation instead of staying in the local community. Only part of it, like wages for employees, benefited the locals. For environmental impacts, during my Minnesota trip, we visited natural areas like Minnehaha Falls, with many visitors walking through the trails constantly. I can see how this could affect the environment by causing erosion and damage to the nature. At the Como Japanese Garden, a worker reminded people not to step on the grass because it could harm the plants. And looking back, I could have reduced my impacts by staying on marked trails, bringing reusable water bottles and bags, or reducing unnecessary driving. This unit helped me understand urban tourism, which looks at how people use attractions and services in a city. In Minneapolis, the main or primary attractions for me were places like the Mall of America, Minnehaha Falls, and the Como Zoo. The secondary parts were things like restaurants, shopping, and transportation, which supported our trip and made everything easier. Traveling to Minneapolis, especially crossing the border and driving long hours, made me realize how important planning and safety are in tourism. Being in a new place always comes with risks, like weather, road safety, or just not knowing the area, so staying aware matters. This also showed me how tourism is shaped by outside forces like pandemics and weather, and how destinations adapt through safety, planning, and visitor management. This course definitely changed how I see traveling. I used to think of traveling as something very simple, relaxing, and fun, but now I understand that tourism is a complex industry with many economic, environmental, and social impacts. Using my trip to Minneapolis, along with the information I learned from this course, helped me to see how tourism demand, marketing attractions, and impacts all connected in real life. Now, when I travel, I think more about sustainability, planning, and how my spending affects local communities. Thank you for listening.